Most important formal and informal words with examples for the preparation of TOEFL and IELTS. Consequently. So. Example is, the team performed poorly in the game, consequently, they lost. Correspondingly. Similarly. Example is, higher levels of pollution are associated with a rise in respiratory problems. Correspondingly, hospital admissions also increase. Construct. Build. Example is, the architect plans to construct a new building in the city center. Credible. Reliable. Example is, it is important to use credible sources when conducting research. Demonstrate. Show. Example is, the experiment was conducted to demonstrate the effects of temperature on plant growth. Deficient. Lacking. Example is, the report highlighted several areas where the company's performance is deficient. Devise. Come up with. Example is, the team worked together to devise a new strategy for increasing sales. Appropriate. Right. Example is, it is important to dress appropriately for a job interview. Acquire. Get. Example is, the company aims to acquire new customers through targeted marketing. Assess. Evaluate. Example is, the teacher will assess the student's understanding through a test. Comprehend. Understand. Example is, it is essential to comprehend the main points of the reading passage. Beneficial. Helpful. Example is, regular exercise has many beneficial effects on physical health. Elaborate. Explain in detail. Example is, the professor asked the student to elaborate on their research findings. Diminish. Reduce. Example is, the new policy aims to diminish the negative impact on the environment. Encounter. Run into. Example is, during their trip, they encountered many different cultures and traditions. Fluctuate. Go up and down. Example is, the prices of oil fluctuate based on market demand and supply. Extensive. Wide-ranging. Example is, the research involved an extensive study of various factors. Generate. Create. Example is, the project aims to generate new opportunities for economic growth. Incentive. Motivation. Example is, the company offers incentives to employees for achieving sales targets. Implement. Carry out. Example is, the government plans to implement new policies to address the issue. Incidence. Frequency. Example is, the incidence of crime has decreased in the past year. Enhance. Improve. Example is, the new software update is designed to enhance the user experience. Engage. Get involved. Example is, it is important for students to engage actively in class discussions. Eradicate. Get rid of. Example is, efforts are being made to eradicate poverty in the region. Exert. Put forth. Example is, the athlete needs to exert maximum effort to win the race. Exemplify. Show. Example is, the author used specific examples to exemplify her argument. Expedite. Speed up. Example is, the new system will help expedite the process of document approval. Inevitable. Unavoidable. Example is, with technological advancements, automation in the workforce is inevitable. Indicate. Show. Example is, the results of the study indicate a strong correlation between the variables. Initiate. Start. Example is, the government plans to initiate a new project to improve infrastructure. Intricate. Complicated. Example is, the problem requires an intricate analysis to find a solution. Maintain. Keep. Example is, it is important to maintain a healthy diet and exercise routine. Justify. Explain. Example is, the author needs to justify her claims with evidence. Manipulate. Control. Example is, the media has the power to manipulate public opinion. Notwithstanding. Despite. Example is, notwithstanding the challenges, the team was able to complete the project on time. Minimize. Reduce. Example is, it is important to minimize the impact of pollution on the environment. Inquire. Check. Example is, the supervisor will inquire if the task has been completed. Inquire. Ask. Example is, I need to inquire about the availability of tickets for the concert. Institute. Set up. Example is, the university plans to institute a new program for international students. Interpret. Explain. Example is, the students were asked to interpret the meaning of the poem. Integrate. Combine. Example is, the company aims to integrate different departments to improve efficiency. Obligation. Duty. Example is, it is our obligation to protect the environment for future generations. Optimum. Best. Example is, the researchers aim to find the optimum conditions for plant growth. Occur. Happen. Example is, the accident occurred at the intersection of two busy streets. Nonetheless. However. Example is, the results were not as expected. Nonetheless, the team will continue with the project. Modify. Change. Example is, the company decided to modify its marketing strategy based on customer feedback. Perceive. See. Example is, the artist's work invites the viewer to perceive the world differently. Proficient. Skilled. Example is, the candidate demonstrated a proficient level of language proficiency. Prevalent. Common. Example is, in many cultures, the consumption of tea is prevalent. Maintain. Keep. Example is, it is essential to maintain a healthy diet and exercise routine.